should be it. Okay, man. Well, I appreciate it. Hate you can't go with us today. Yes, sir. You got Cameron here. You ready to take
Ready
these
to
guys
go, man.
on an
We're
adventure?
gonna get out there and get underwater again.
I hear you. Well, that sounds good. Cameron's gonna keep us safe today. That's his job. But
Fend off the sharks.
yeah, fend off the shark. That's his job. He's shark bait. So
yeah, you must be a faster swimmer than him then.
no, not really. He's diversion.
I got
But no, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna head offshore. Actually, gonna combine some fishing and diving. Probably go out to a wreck in around 60 feet of water. See if we can find some king mackerel. We've got the ladies with us. My wife Amy and Cameron's wife Endow are gonna be with us. So they might want to pull on some barracuda, maybe catch some sea bass, and then. But when the fish don't cooperate, we have a plan B, which is go get them. So
That's right.
that's part two. So we'll see you at the dock when we get back.
Yeah, hate I'm gonna miss it, but I think we're making a habit of that lately. But hopefully I'll be back on the boat soon enough, so y'all have a big time.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Good seeing you, Barrett.
Yes, sir. No Limits Fishing with Captain Barrett and Captain Brant McMullen is brought to you by Yellowfin Yachts, only in a Yellowfin.
Okay, so here I am on the front of the boat. You guys might notice, some folks that know me would know, but you see the thing around my left leg. I had a really bad accident about a year ago, and I hurt my leg real bad. But I've been coming through it, and as you can see, I'm still able to throw a cast, not too bad for an old guy.
That's right, you opened it up good. I guess you know, the balance is probably the most difficult part, but it looks like you still got the technique.
Yeah, that's what I tell people, what we teach people out there nets all the time, and balance is the most important thing, and being able to stand up there on the front of the boat. You see how calm it is. Imagine if it's 3, 4, 5 foot out there.
Right. All right, bait's in the bait well, dive gear's on the boat. Got all sorts of adventures planned for the day. I'm, of course, sitting on the dock thinking about it. But you guys, I think, before you left, you mentioned you were going to head out to about 60 foot of water. I mean, why there?
Yeah, well, I think, everybody, the diving is sort of the main thing that we're doing. And, you and I have both gotten into diving quite a bit, and even some spear fishing. And to be honest, this was kind of like a checkout dive opportunity. The weather was good. The water had been very clear near shore. And, rather than jumping right in and go dive 100, 110 feet of water, we thought it would be a good opportunity to dive in some shallower water.
Yeah, diving, I mean, it's actually pretty great out of this area. People, It's kind of one of those, secrets that a lot of people don't know about around here. When you get over that 100-foot mark out of here, I mean, to me, it's some of the best in the world, probably.
It's untouched.
It's untouched, exactly. But like you said, I mean, and diving is one of those things that safety, you cannot focus on it enough. And so probably pretty smart you guys decided to get started at a more elementary level.
It's been over a year since I mentioned getting hurt in an accident a year and a half ago, and I haven't dove since then, and just kind of get our feet wet, if you will. But we mix the fishing in with it, so that's where we are now in the trip. Rather than just drive all the way 20-something miles offshore and dive in the water and get wet and come back. We mix in fishing and diving. So we've caught our bait. It's a beautiful day. As you can see, the ocean is flat calm. We've caught our bait. You know, we're going to do some king mackerel fishing. Maybe we'll catch some barracudas or sharks or something over some of the wrecks or whatever. And our job is to catch all of the bad fish before we go get in with them.
Right, so they won't eat you.
Yes, they won't mess with us. That's
okay.
our job.
All right, sounds good.
Kids would never do that with us. Yes, that right there. Just, yeah, perfect.
You okay?
I'd have to do a little action here in a minute. Cameron, put your pants on and come on back here.
I know, man, I know.
What are you saying?
I was looking out for another outtake.
This is a family channel. Okay guys, we're all set up for a big dive today, but before we do some diving, we'll do a little bit of fishing. We caught some live pogies on the beach. We're gonna do some king mackerel fishing, who knows what else, you know, maybe we catch a few sharks to warm up our diving spirit, you know, but who knows what we're gonna do. We're in about 65 feet of water, about 20 miles offshore. We'll do this for a little bit, and then we'll head on off to where we're probably gonna dive a nearby wreck. And we may fish there a little bit as well, but let's just see how it goes, and then we'll move to the dive.
Let's go.
Saw you putting the lines on the downriggers. You also had something on there that I've never seen before. It looked like a mini submarine or something. What was that blue thing you had on the downrigger?
Yeah, that's called a Troll Pro.
Okay.
It's a sort of a new device that's out. It's meant to work with the GoPro cameras. You know, we use our GoPro cameras for a lot of the scenic shots,
Right.
underwater footage or up high. And so what that housing does is called a Troll Pro. And what it does is that camera sits right inside of it, and then you hook it in line with the downrigger and turn it on. And then, you know, standard downrigger, we use downriggers, of course, a lot. They're really important for our fishing. But we set that bait back about 10 feet from the Troll Pro so that when you're trolling it, the camera is looking right at your bait.
That's
and
neat.
Hoping to try to get the strike. You know,
Oh
the
man,
fish.
that's killer. That's, you know, another one of those, you know, toys for the GoPros. Get
Yeah.
another perspective.
Yeah, well, we did a whole show, you know,
Right.
on using the GoPros and how they're really neat to catch stuff. So just another way to see the action.
Is there a way that you can put that down there? I can see, if, you know, going diving, that'd be really helpful. Is there a way to put it down there, bring it up, and see what you're shooting?
Yeah. Actually, there's a brand new app that just came out for the GoPro. You have to download it, and I haven't even done it yet, but where you're actually able to view your footage from your GoPro on your iPhone, on your phone, and that's brand new. They also have a separate device called an LCD screen that you can clip onto your GoPro to watch, but that new app is going to let you see. So conceivably, you can, you know, if you don't want to dive, you could put your camera down, drive around the spot, and then watch just to see what's down there.
Yeah, the Troll Pro, you know, just another way to get cool shots, and we'll be experimenting with a lot of this stuff, so hopefully this is going to turn out good.
Yeah, check out some of the footage we got off of it.
All right.
All right, well, you can see the underwater footage we wanted to play. Really cool. It's kind of hard to see, so you can see it's not perfect. But check out the dark shape in the back right. Did you see that?
I did. That was a big fish.
Yeah, you get to see. It's hard to see through this thing, but you kind of have to interpret. But coming right up here at the top, check out, that's your bait. That small object is not perfect, but the small object at the upper of the screen, and those are big barracudas back there in the background. that are coming at the bait.
Right, so this is all shot with the Troll Pro.
That's right, this is a Troll Pro. I think we need to do some work. You can see that the footage is very shaky.
Right.
Obviously the boat's moving, but you do get to see what's down there. Those are
Right.
spade fish right there.
Well, there are some fish down here. I'm seeing barracudas, amberjacks, spade fish, lots of bait fish, so you guys better catch something.
Yeah, we'll see if the line will go off here in just a second.
I bet it does.
So just pull it, reel it in? Yeah, just pull in and then just let it.
Oh, man.
Okay, while it's coming out, then
I work
just,
with her. I work with her here. Put that up there.
don't wind. You let it take out drag. When it stops. Oh, that's good. You don't remember when I go back down. For any time, you got a good eye. We all look the same.
Ah, barracuda. Perfect pre-dive catches, barracudas and sharks. Let's see if we can catch barracudas and sharks before we go get in the water with them.
That's right.
Yes.
You want to get the sharks all frenzied up, ready to go, so they're just like chomping at the bit on anything that hits the water.
I'm sorry, man. It's up on the side.
Barracuda! Barracuda, fish of the day.
Look at the teeth on that thing. Pliers. You gotta stick your hand in there a little bit further. All right. All right, let's let him go. See you later. How's Zendow doing up there?
No Limits Fishing with Captains Brant and Barrett McMullen is brought to you by the Ocean Isle Fishing Center, located at the base of the bridge at Ocean Isle Beach, the go-to place for everything fishing in the Carolinas. All right, you guys bent the rod a few times, caught some fish, and I guess next on the agenda is to get in the water.
Yeah, the fishing, we started out trying to target the king mackerel, but truthfully it just wasn't really going on. We didn't have a lot of time to dedicate, move to spots. We tried an area, didn't do anything, and then we came on over to the wreck where we wanted to dive, and we did some fishing there. We wanted to, like we said, get all the critters out of there, and we found out that in fact there were barracuda there, which are a lot of fun to catch. People badmouth them, but as far as sport fish and catching fish, you saw those reels screaming.
Absolutely. Well,
So.
they're big toothy critters. They look menacing, but having been diving quite a few times, they really don't mess with you. They just like to look at you.
They're curious. They're curious.
Right.
People think of them as this, terrible monsters, but they're curious. The sharks we did not see. We definitely trolled around the area. We were kind of watching, seeing if there was anything that looked like it might be as big as we were, but everything looked good. And so, as we caught the fish, we started shifting focus. Cameron got his, started to get his game face on. Cameron, we introduced him in the video, but he's with Coastal Scuba out of Little River and a dive master with thousands of dives under his belt, and nothing better than to go diving with someone who really, really knows what they're doing and can be really safety conscious.
Absolutely. Diving, safety is absolutely at the top of the list, and like you said, nobody better to go with than Cameron, so I'm glad he was with you guys, and
Yeah.
I think he's probably about to give you guys a little refresher course, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's really great to have him on board. Very helpful, and he's about to give us some good lessons here. Check it out.
All right, Brent, we're gonna check the gas mix in these tanks and see how much oxygen content we got here.
Hey, what does it mean?
the more oxygen content you have in the tank, the longer you're going to be able to stay down in your depths. Even though we're working shallower depth with the higher oxygen concentration, you'll have less post-dive fatigue and stuff like that. So it's mucho importante that we know exactly what the oxygen mix is.
Gotcha. Safety.
Safety, safety, safety. At deeper depths, then the oxygen creates problems. At shallow depths like this, we got lots and lots of time, but we just want to make sure we're running the right mix for the computer systems so we can get all the numbers set right and not have any unforeseen issues. Alright, Brandon, so what we'll do, man, I'm just going to load up and just drop the anchor in, just going to make sure it's got a secure set. I'll pull on the line 3 times, let somebody know to go ahead and just tie it in, and just make sure everything's secure so that when we're down there diving, the boat will not go anywhere and it'll be in the same place when we get back.
You want the little string one?
All right, well, we threw Cameron out. Now we're leaving. We just leave him there, whatever. But no.
What's he doing?
The guy's, I mean, he has no hesitation. He is like a fish. And but being a dive master, and he runs dive charters for a living, you know, he's basically the scout. We send him down to see if anything wants to eat you or mess with you, and so we feed him first to the fish, and then we go in after
So
him.
basically, if he comes back, then you know you can go.
Then we're good. If he comes back, we're good. If he doesn't, well, you know, we'll get him next time.
There you go.
So.
But I guess he was going to just make sure the anchor was in good position.
Yeah. He jumps over. This is what he does on his charters too. He'll jump over. You drop the anchor. He jumps in and actually makes sure that the anchor is locked firmly to the bottom,
right?
Because you don't want to come back in the boat and not be there.
Sure.
You know. So, but anyway, and he kind of scouts, just make sure. He really just makes sure everything's safe, really. You know, and you know, and then from there we'll get in the water and go see what's down there ourselves.
Now it's time for you to jump in.
Yeah, check it out.
Man, you guys are set up, ready to roll and everything. That's awesome. It's really pretty. It's covered in growth. Probably 100 barracuda stacked on top of it. I did see some small little juvenile scamps and stuff. Real pretty little sight. On your mast, sir. One hand on the back of your mast strap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, go. One hand on the regulator. One hand on the back on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Good. All right, one hand on the front of the mast, one on the back of the mast. Roll backwards.
All right, freeze that shot. Do you see, what do you see there?
I see the bottom.
Do you see that flounder laying right there? Isn't that really cool? That flounder is laid right in the corner of the ship, and it was hard to see, but I stopped and I had to double take, and I saw a pair of eyes is what I saw. But it's really cool. But you know me, I can't just let a flounder lay there without messing with it, right?
Absolutely not. No, we're fishermen.
So what do? Stick it.
Try to make dinner. There you go.
So it was a neat deal. You should try to hold the camera and hold the spear at the same time and shoot him.
Well, that's really something we didn't talk about much. I mean, we've been talking about diving, but truthfully for us, the motivation for diving is spearfishing. We love spearfishing, and this is more of just a checkout dive, but looks like you couldn't help yourself.
Well, we're hunters by nature, so yeah, when you see something that you want to shoot, you can't help but go after it. So, but besides that, look around, it's beautiful. The visibility was like 30 to 40 feet. And what we were looking at here was a barge. This is actually a barge that had been sunk to the bottom and on purpose to make for the reef. And
okay, yeah. And there's Cameron. He's got looks like a little spider on his hand.
You can't hardly see it. I think they're going to zoom into it. It's called a sea spider, and it's right there on his glove, sitting there. And apparently they're fairly rare. He caught a lot of it. And but I don't like spiders anyway.
Yeah, they're hiding in those ships. But I see some spadefish, saw some big sea bass, and not too many barracudas yet, but I know they're lurking around.
Yeah, well, that's because we're looking down. The cudas are all up over our head,
Okay.
But no sharks, just a lot of fish, a lot of life. Very, very beautiful dive, just a good scenic dive. Very rare that you get the visibility that we have here in water, less than 60, 80 feet of water.
Yeah.
So really, really nice. Very enjoyable. Very comfortable.
Looks like a good dive. No Limits Fishing with Captains Brant and Barrett McMullen is brought to you by the new Carolina Wing and Fish Company, located in downtown Charlotte, under new ownership, featuring fresh fish straight off the boats from the Ocean Isle Fishing Center. Wow, that's awesome, man. I got the fever. I want to get in the water. I hope you're ready to go.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, there aren't that many people that actually get in the water and go do it, but for those that don't, I think it should be really interesting. Hopefully it was really interesting to see, just kind of what it looks like down there.
It took us a very long time to get over our fears of all the monsters and critters that live out there to actually get in the water, but once we did, and you can see it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you just got to stay calm and compose, and man, I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
Yeah, staying calm, that's a key factor, like we said. And we took somebody who was experienced, really experienced, and that's really nice. But it was a really good dive. The visibility was great for that 60-foot depth. The water temperature was good. I didn't even have a wetsuit on, which is always nice. It's kind of a pain to get in the suit. And the only thing I would have liked better is if there'd have been a little more hunting down there. It'd have been nice to see a few big grouper, or I was really hoping that wreck would be covered up with flounder. I only saw that one single flounder, believe it or not, that whole thing. I had just visions of just layers of flounder.
Right, yeah, and I guess that's a good segue into the fishing report now. I know the inshore guys have been putting a hurting on the flounder on the nearshore reefs.
Right. Yeah, that's right. The timing was perfect because on the nearshore reefs is in the hotter months, a lot of times the flounder will move out of the creeks and the intercoastal waterways and such to get a little bit deeper and cooler water. So they move out to the 30, 40, 50, even 60-foot depths where we were to get that cool water before they come back in the fall time.
Right. I guess spots like the Jim Caudle Reef and the Jollymon Reef and Yopon, those are all good spots.
Those are all popular, but not many people fish as far out as we were. And so that's why I had that vision, well, man, maybe it'd just be covered with flounder, but apparently not. It wasn't.
Right.
But,
well, yeah, that's one thing that's going on, but the season is changing.
Yes,
we've had several cold fronts already this year. As a matter of fact, this past weekend, I'm going to Catch Bay for a tournament. We ran across a huge mullet migration, which is a telltale sign of the changing of the season, and a lot of activity in the water, a lot of bait fish around.
Yeah, you can feel it. It just feels good. I love waking up in the morning after a cool front's come through and you have to put a jacket on and just feels nice. And you mentioned the inshore fishing a minute ago in the flounder. One other thing that's really starting to kick, and we'll be getting even better, will be the redfish, the bull reds, the big 20-plus pounders will start to come into the inlet mouths, and from now, really, for the next month or 2 months, they'll start to target and catch those big bull reds.
Yeah, I've heard of a few nice ones being caught already, so that's exciting for inshore stuff. I guess the big thing that everybody's sort of waiting on is the king mackerel migration coming to the beach, and you know, seeing those mullet on the beach this weekend, the yellow butterflies, the cool air. You know, we're weeks away. I wouldn't say we're days away, but we're definitely within a few weeks of it happening.
Yeah, you can start to sense it and feel it. You know, I think we're really shooting toward generally last of September to early October when that happens. It can be hard waiting when things feel right, but the fish, some of the fish know. I mean, they know, they've got a clock in their head, and they know when they want to be where, and so that's coming up, but you can definitely feel that, sense it. You know, on the offshore scene, the way out offshore scene, the Gulf Stream action, wahoo fishing is continuing to pick up. It's been fairly steady here, but as we get more cool weather and we get more fish migrations, then the wahoo are going to pick up and start to get a lot better as well.
Right. And when you're wahoo fishing, you know, out of here, I don't think it so much matters where you go because you're covering ground. You know, some people say, well, where do I need to go? You know, where do I need to go catch a wahoo? And really, it's more about a depth than it is about, you know, go to the blackjack hole or go to the steeples or the McMarlin hole. You know, you try to get out there, troll around, find the depth they're in, but most importantly is finding the bait fish. And I think we've talked about before, this time of year is when we're going to start looking for those small tunas that the wahoos are feeding on.
That's right. You look for bird activity because the little birds will be over those tunas, and if you see the little tunas jumping around, then the wahoos will invariably be around them, and you know, covering ground is important. The depth, you know, we may find wahoo keying in 120 feet. We may find them keying in 300 feet. So once you kind of find an area, generally you catch them consistently within that range. You know, you're not usually going to catch one at 120 and one at 250. They're all going to be in the same line for, you know,
yeah,
for a
that's
reason.
true. And another thing we haven't really talked about yet this year, but it is something that's coming up, is the grouper fishing, the fall grouper fishing. You know, and actually it seems like if you really pay attention, the early fall can be better even than late fall. You know, that September and October time. The gag grouper, they move inshore. You know, they've mostly been in that 130 to probably 180 foot range for most of the summer. We should start seeing them come into, you know, as shallow as 60 foot off of our area. You know, it varies where you're at, but out of here, you know, 60 to 80 foot seems to be the spot.
Yeah, and that's when you'll go to the, really we fish this, the people ask, you know, where do I go catch a grouper in the fall time, and really you go where you king mackerel fish. Those gag grouper will come from the shallows into that, I would say, you know, as shallow as 60, but the range where we really like is that 80 foot generally. You find a good ledge, and you anchor up. That's the key, is you need to anchor because your boat's got to be stopped right over top of that ledge where you can drop straight down. And the water being shallower, it makes it a little bit easier to get those fish up off the bottom. But there are also some, you know, they can be big fish in the fall too, you know, averaging 15 to 20 pounds.
Well, sounds good. Lots going on. A lot of fishing getting ready to take place. I'm looking forward to it. Hope to get out there scuba diving very soon. But appreciate you paving the way for us.
You got to get on board one of these trips.
I'm there. Let's do it.
All right, let's go fishing.